In this video, I'd like to show some fundamentals of a CLM process. Now, one of the things that a content or a contract lifecycle management tool or application offers is the ability to track your content. By tracking content or documents or agreements or contracts, the CLM functions in a way to not only provide a repository for that final generated piece of content, document, agreement, contract, but it also allows for the tracking through various steps in a workflow. Every business uses their content and workflow differently. The challenge is with just email and maybe Excel or a Google Sheet to track it. It becomes very difficult to know where an agreement is at any point in time. That's where the CLM comes in. That's where predefined workflows come in and provide a very important ability to report, track, and find where in a workflow an agreement exists. So this example here of this one NDA, we've put it into a workflow. And that workflow allows the user to route to different parties, whether it be internal for legal review, maybe even some type of a management or deal desk or other organization review, as well as, of course, the traditional sending for signature. But one thing that a CLM distinguishes itself by is how it handles external review. When you're managing content or documents or agreements for purposes especially of legal nature, you're looking at internal review, external review, and the signature process. For purposes of external review, some of the greatest cost implications arise with an inefficient external review. Sending an agreement to a counterparty, to a client via email, and not having a way of tracking that hurts the ability to understand where that document is. So when you look at a content contract lifecycle management tool, one thing that must be considered is the external review. How is it accomplished? And there are many ways to do it. Those that are not in an application are doing it via email, sending it to the counterparty, to the client, but it doesn't offer any ability to truly track that. With this application, pre-baked is the ability to have external review. Full customization, of course, or templatized approach, and then allowing this to go out the door. Well, this is important because now by sending this through an external review process within an application, the user will know where that document is, and they will be able to see at any point. But of also super importance is the experience of the recipient. Everyone is used to email. And what an external review process offers, or should offer, is a good user experience for the recipient to be able to handle and perform the external review. So here we see an email that has been sent based on the user clicking external review. It went to an email address that was set up from the Salesforce account, but it could have been overridden. You saw that through the user experience inside the application. And now the user's notified, hey, you can review this one of two ways. You can reply by downloading the attachment, and you can do it, or you can have a review online. Now, there are other ways to handle this, but this is a very sufficient means of allowing a user to kind of find where their comfort zone is. Replying to an email, pretty basic. Downloading the attachment, probably already doing that today because it's being sent through email. Right, so there's the attachment, there's the document, you can make the red lines, etc. Let's just do a simple review online. So we'll get this done here. But this is important for external review. How is the application offering the ability to have external review? That is one of the core components for purposes of a management lifecycle tool or lifecycle management tool. So in this case now, the external party, the company, the client, the etc., they finished up, they're good, and everything has been sent back. Well, what's going to happen now is, for purposes of workflow, the workflow is going to return back to the person who sent it. So it's back to the person who actually sent it out, and now they can go directly into their document and they can check to see the activity history, etc. But at this point, an external review was completed. The workflow now can be, hey, we're ready to send this for signature. Most times if something has gone externally though, it should get reviewed by another group. So in this case, we'll just do a send for legal review. So we're going to send for legal review. We put a comment in here. Again, the premise behind this software is the workflow is there already to be used and help to structure the user in understanding how to use it. It also is giving the ability to have everyone work in the same platform. And that's huge. So now the folks in legal reviewers, they can get the email notification, they have something to review, can be pre-assigned, all of those other variables that you just take for granted or have written down somewhere, they're baked into the workflow and can be customized and modified. So if I was the legal person, I'm not going to say, so let's go in here and I'll say I'm legal. Odds are legal is not going to be living in Salesforce, but this is why you have a separate system to be able to allow different groups to get access for purposes of what they need to do. So here, as a legal group member, I see there is a task and it needs to be worked. So legal now can come in and pick up this job, and they basically can provide comments, they can do reviews, they can check for red lines, all of the standard functionality that a contract, content, lifecycle management solution provides out of the box is super important here, because again, the tracking of this is happening. Now, depending on the legal team, They can maybe require an additional internal group, whether it be the deal desk or InfoSec or some other group. Well, then they have an ability to stay within the solution and actually reach out to that group through whatever type of internal review. And don't forget the big three: internal review, external review, and signature. Most legal shops do not want to be in the signing ceremony, so we don't see an option here for that. But could that be added? Certainly. Now, some legal shops like to also work with the counterparty client and do an external review. It does depend, but that's the flexibility here of the solution with the workflow. So these things have been thought about and addressed and architected. But let's say legal is finished with their review, well, then they can send it back to the requester. All of this is customizable. So the language, the terminology, the vernacular can be business specific. So then in sending this back to the requester, this is fine, sent for signature. That would complete a cycle of sorts to allow a content piece, a document, an agreement, a contract to be tracked through the process. And as a final step for legal, because this document, after it was sent for external review, it was flagged to say this cannot go out for signature. And again, that's all baked in. They can approve, and now the requester can send this document out for signature. So the benefits of a structured workflow that comes pre-built or customizable is that your document, your content, the agreement is never lost. Now you can see here I'm in the same role, so it came back to me immediately. That wouldn't necessarily be the case. Legal would just have it gone. But this is I'm in all the same roles, all the roles. I have legal as well as the requester. So this is a benefit. These are the benefits of a structured approach with workflow. You can see from legal review, we're going to head now to requester review again. And the requester is emailed and notified, but they could also check status here. The full history of everything that's gone on is also tracked in here in Salesforce. It's also tracked in the CLM as well. So the benefits are that everyone has visibility, people know where the content is, and the ease of which to send a document back and forth in a structured way, meaning not just via email and try to find that email, but in a structured way where the content is there, really helps to find the agreements, understand where they are, and know what is going on with them. Of course, you have version control. Of course, you have all the other things that should be built as stock features into the true contract or content lifecycle management tool. Thanks.